event, and they're gonna drive off the fucking. I don't think you're supposed to do that. What are you doing? Don't you know it's blocked down there, lady? Like there's a sign in front of you. But whatever. Okay. So yeah, 187 Battle Circuit, their first event, main event. It was Atheist versus Mike Bailey, 1 round. So yeah, we're just gonna recap it. So first off, I just want to introduce my friend.
Hey, what's going on, atheists?
That
was fun, man.
Yeah, definitely. And so we did not do a coin toss. He chose to go first. How did you feel about your round?
I thought it went well. I mean, like, it was, it's like never perfect, but I was super happy with how it went. It was good.
Definitely.
It was practice and practice and practice. Oh, look, here she comes coming back.
Yeah, there was while I do this, so there was a moment where you did this, like, you got in this scheme, not a scheme, or what should I call it, an angle.
Yeah.
Where you were doing like a commercial.
Yeah.
Like you were acting out a
Your gun
commercial
shop.
for me.
Yeah.
How did you even think of that?
I was just thinking, like, I know you do a lot of gun bars, and I was trying to think of a realistic way I could do gun bars that wouldn't be corny. And then I was like, oh, I could do gun bars for him. And then I just can't. And my whole round was about, like, hey, like, don't turn rap battles into a business. Like, let's get you an actual business. Which I didn't think. I was, like, super worried the crowd was not going to respond to any of it. There was some shit about 401ks and Roth IRAs, and I thought they were just going to, like, hate it. But they liked it. Crowd reaction was good. Good size crowd, loud crowd. It was really fun.
Yeah, and I would say, like, out of all the angles I've faced, that is definitely one that, like, nobody's ever came close to an angle like that. So that definitely wins creative points for me.
Either that or white jokes.
Yeah. Why don't white jokes don't work too well? I've done it. And then for me, yeah, so I go second. Had a rough week because of battling in LA, then going to the beach with the family, coming back, all that kind of stuff, right? So when I came back, I wrote it. I tried to memorize it in 2 days. I was doing it in the parking lot, and I was like, oh, I got this. Like, it's cool. And then I start rapping. I do my first little sequence, and the crowd reacts, which I felt like they jumped early. And so when they kind of jumped early, my brain kind of skipped. My brain went to the next sequence when I still had to finish the sequence I was on. And so that kind of threw me off. So I had to take a minute. I had to think about it. I was really close. I was looking to choke, like, right in the barrel, but then I pulled through that. Yeah. Started rapping. I got most of my bars off still. Really good. I had good crowd reaction on a lot of the jokes, which is what I was expecting. I didn't do too many angles. Mine was more joking. I did kind of have angles.
It was good to see you do that, though.
Yeah.
I was just like, because you said before you were going to do jokes, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to see what that is. And it was great.
Yeah, and I don't do comedy.
No one's ever called me the Hamburglar before, and I was like, fuck, you nailed me on that one.
Yeah. And like, for me, the only angle I really took was at the end. I took like this, you're like the white Afro man.
Yeah.
Which I liked because there was lines that people didn't catch. So what ended up happening, I felt like, was they were fucking with my jokes really early.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another stumble, but I was able to pull through it pretty fast.
Yeah.
And when I got through that, I go into this sequence where I start dissing a lot of other rappers in the attendance.
Which got such a good reaction.
But then I felt like halfway through that, they stopped not wanting to hear me dissing other rappers anymore.
Well, that crowd were the people you were shitting on.
Yeah.
So you might lose your audience.
Yeah. So then once I got out of that, I got into this really cool angle that, I don't know, either everybody missed and it went over their head, or they were just not wanting to hear it. And it was that Afro man shit. Yeah. And I liked it because I thought there was a deep bar in there where I say, was it because you got high that you copied his whole swag with them so-called raps you spitting? Not only is you 2 decades past when that fad was trending, but it's kind of disgusting how you could just jack black like some kind of Kung Fu Panda mission. And so, like, I took, like, and I was worried about it missing because a white person talking about appropriation on another white person is kind of crazy.
But it got a reaction. That line was good.
It might have. I can't remember. So I always have this thing where I think, I think the crowd doesn't react much, but I don't know. I might have been missing
There were some ones where, like, it's so hard. The day before, and this happens in all my battles, where I'm like, that's the fucking haymaker. Crickets. And then a joke that's like a setup will get like a big laugh, and I'll be like, I don't know what you fuckers want.
And that's where my original stumbles and, like, having to take that moment where I almost choked out, that came from that, where they jumped too early.
Yeah, you practice it and you go, I think they're gonna laugh here, so I'll take a breath here, or like do something. But then if it doesn't go that way, then sometimes your brain just, people don't understand how like blank your brain can go if you choke.
And it's crazy.
I mean, it's like no, you don't know your name.
Yeah, when you get up there, it's like you have a plan, and for me, 9 times out of 10, everything goes to plan, and I feel great.
Yeah.
And then there's that 1 time out of 10 where just nothing goes to plan and everything starts falling apart. And I knew coming to this battle that this would be the battle that happened on. I actually knew coming in. I said, okay, I do have my round memorized.
Right.
But the problem is I've only been rehearsing it for 2 days now. And so usually for me to be comfortable going into a battle, I like to have been rapping it perfectly from memory without looking at my phone for a week. That's my rule.
At least.
A week,
yeah.
you know? And so only having 2 days, I was like, okay, there's going to be stumbles. The best thing I can do is just get through the stumbles. And I wasn't expecting to be that bad because, like you said, everything went fucking blank for me for like a good 30 seconds.
I think when you watch it, it feels worse when you're in it. But when you watch it back, like you got your bars off and the crowd was reacting and it was the main event and it was worth being the main event.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I think everybody did a good job tonight, but I was really happy with when they were like, hey, do you want to do this event? I was like, if I can battle Mike. And so it was...
Yeah, that was actually me. I said it was originally supposed to be Smokes Eli, and I told him I would think about it.
Yeah.
And then he got back to me with your name, and I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, I got this other big rapper who wants to come down from Seattle. Will you take him instead, and we can get Atheist somebody else? And I said, no, it's
awesome.
Atheist. Like, it's only going to be
We've
Atheist.
known each other for so long.
Yeah, since I was a kid.
Yeah, it's insane.
And then...
like... It was the, like you were saying on the live earlier, like, it's the battle people didn't know they wanted. And so many people were hitting me up like, oh, shit, I never thought about, like, your guys' clash of styles together. But I feel like you did a good job of, like, adapting to my style.
I did. So I was like, I'm not going to leave my gun bars and my street talk completely out.
Right.
But I'm going to do it in a sarcastic way where it's like, I'm this, you're that. I'm this, you're that. I'm this, you're that. Over and over. And like I said, it does make me mad. I feel like I missed out probably on like 16 bars total that I kind of had to skip because my brain was skipping. And, but like you said, when I see it back, it probably won't be as bad as I'm making it out to be. I know
You'll
that
probably never watch it again because I don't watch the ones where I
I watch them once. I watch every battle one time,
if
whether
I
it was
won,
good or bad.
I'll watch them a million times. Half
not
of my
me.
views are from me. If I'm having a bad day, I just put on old battles where I kick their ass.
No, I'll watch a battle good or bad one time.
Yeah.
I love my intro though. My intro was my very favorite.
It was so solid.
So I came up with that intro right when I got home from Cali. And I said, if I can just build on this intro, then I'm going to love this battle because the clapping and then the stop clapping and then the clapping, that's where I got thrown off because people reacted to my clapping.
Right.
They didn't react to the bar. They reacted to the clapping.
Yeah.
And that in my head, I never saw coming.
Yeah.
Like what I thought was going to happen was I was going to clap and people were going to be like building up, expecting.
Yeah.
And then I was going to like tease them and clap again.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, when I spit the next bar, they'll go crazy. But they went crazy on the second clap, and it threw me way the fuck off. But then, God, I'm trying to think of what else I could touch on. So the rest of the card, obviously there was a lot of like newer people or unpolished people.
Yeah.
And so watching it was fun. I saw all the battles except for Spades and Jay Villain.
Which was great. I co-hosted that one.
Well, I could say our battle was the best out of all the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one, so you would have to really give
great.
the answer.
It was Jay Villain did a great job. Spades did a great job. Like, it's the rematch, and I thought they both like did a good job of like catching up past their rounds. And such a huge shout out to Spades. Like, he's going through stuff, and to come out and do this, it was incredible.
Yeah, see, and I have a lot of respect
bars.
when people do that because there are a couple people who didn't show up. And so, like, and I get it. Everybody,
quite a few.
Yeah.
More than I thought.
And everybody goes through life, so I always try to, like, be understanding and be cool about it. And so, like, when Spades missed the last battle, for example, it was due to, like, real serious shit.
Yeah.
And so...
No one said anything about it.
Exactly. So when it's that kind of stuff, I understand. But anything short of that, I kind of don't like.
Yeah,
and
of course.
So,
it takes if you had no-showed, which, like, you wouldn't, but, like, if you had no-showed, it would have been, like, the biggest, like, well, what do I do with all this energy? Like, I've prepped and practiced and stressed.
And that's what people, like, don't take into consideration when they go show. And that's how you know the difference between, like, somebody who's a professional and somebody who's just doing it as a hobby.
Yeah.
But for me, I remember there was a moment where I was like, fuck, I might have to cancel this battle.
Yes.
I remember it was when I was in LA and we had turned up after my battle. And then, like, I realized the battle was Friday instead of Saturday, so I lost a day, and I still had to drive all the way home. So when that happened, I was like, fuck, maybe I should cancel it.
Yeah.
But then I was
I'm
like,
so
no,
glad you
I
didn't.
can't do that. That's not me. So
Yeah.
I decided I was going to come anyways. I took a lot of painkillers because I rolled my ankle. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with it. I think that it's going to come down to like preference on people. So this isn't one of the battles where I think you go watch it and you say, oh, there's a winner and loser.
Yeah.
I never do that with one rounders. With one rounders, to me, it's always like just watching an exhibition of people just getting off.
For sure.
And I think a one rounder you write different. With a 3-rounder,
Yes.
you like first round I'm gonna do this, second round I'm gonna do
Yep.
that, third round I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, different
and a one
angles
rounder
and schemes for each
exactly.
three. This was like you have one chance to prove what you're gonna do.
Yep.
And
so
do it.
For me, a one rounder is like just get off as many dope bars as you can.
Yep.
Like it doesn't need to have a rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be a cool structure. Just fucking every bar, hit them.
Yeah, I've only done 3-round battles before this.
Yeah,
and
this
I like
is
it.
my
I liked
this
it a
is
lot.
my third one rounder.
Shout out to 187. Like this
My
was
fourth.
Crazy.
Because I did one rounder with Dre Dennis, Danny Myers, Burner, and now you.
It's awesome.
But then the last thing I want to do real quick on the live, because we're getting close
Yeah.
to the 15-minute mark, is like the sweet spot. The last thing I want to do is kind of run through the card for what I can remember and call winners on, not winners, but standouts at least. Like go through each battle and say if there was a standout or something like that.
Yeah, so these bottom two no-showed.
Okay.
And then Kyle and 801 Rees.
So 801 Rees freestyled, I know that. And so like I said, with one rounders, for me, it's not about winning and losing. It's about potential, what I saw, or if I saw somebody spaz out.
Right.
So 801 Rees, he just freestyled, and I don't know that he got the memo or if that was a conscious decision.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't know if it was like if your brain blanks and you just start freestyling. Like, I've been there, but Kyle super prepared. His
well,
last
he said
battle
that
was
he
with
meant
Phoenix.
to freestyle, so I don't know if he's telling the
gotcha.
truth, but if he is, then
lesson learned.
For freestyle, it was pretty good. It wasn't
I didn't
great.
realize it was a freestyle through parts of it.
Yeah.
I thought he was coming in and out of rhythms,
It had its
which
moments.
is a compliment. Yeah,
it had its moments where it was great freestyling, and then it had its moments where it was pretty good freestyling.
Kyle came off a loss against Phoenix Child, and I thought killed it.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah.
I think for his second battle, too, you got to put that in perspective. For his second battle, he did really good.
Yeah, he's like a musician and transitioning into battling, and so it's
well, and then
cool.
there's the first battle song on the flyer where it was that new girl
Key. Yes, and Smoke.
And so Smoke, I thought his first battle wasn't as good as his second. I thought he had some pretty good bars.
Was that the last minute swap?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, he killed it for what it was.
Yeah.
Like,
and he had some
shout out
good
to him
bars.
for doing it, hosting the event, putting all the stress of putting it together, and then like taking on a last minute battle on top of the battle you already have. I wouldn't have done half of that shit.
Yep. And that's kind of how I felt. I was like, fuck, I'm filming this, co-hosting this,
Yeah.
and battling, and I prepped in 2 days. But that's like what warriors do, and so he proved to be a warrior on this one.
This was a huge event.
The girl, I feel like for a first battle, it's good. What she needs to do is get the memo about punchlines being metaphors and stuff, opposed to just like having cool rhyme structures. And then she has great rhythm. You can tell she makes amazing
I want to know if
music.
she wrote it over a beat.
Yeah,
like it was like, oh, this is like listening to an album.
Yeah, like it was almost like she had cadence to a fault because it sounded like music.
Yeah, which is like different. And if that's your style.
Yeah, it would be a new style.
Yeah.
It would be a new style.
But I thought she did great. I thought, and then we've got Josh Matter and Smoke. We've got Spades, J Villain, and us.
So Josh Matter and Smoke, I thought Josh Matter took a big step up on lyrical content. I really, really liked his bars. I still want to see him add more bars. I want it to be less just good stuff to say and more like, catchy, witty punchlines, metaphors, that kind of thing.
That Matthew Lillard scheme was so good.
That was
and
dope.
I think it went over people's heads.
Yeah, I did.
But he was like mentioning like without a paddle and hackers, and I was Scooby-Doo, and I was like, oh shit, I'm a film guy. I know
what's crazy though about it is that
I thought it
felt like
end
no
with a
battles
wordplay
got reaction.
It was, I think ours did.
Yeah, ours did. But up until that point, I didn't see the one before us. But up until our battle, I didn't see much reacting. The first battle had the most reaction out of any that I saw.
Yeah.
Up until ours. And then ours had a shit ton.
I think battlers need to like realize that like you have to, sort of like doing stand-up comedy, you have to invite the battle, like the crowd to laugh. And to have a good time.
And I think that's what I learned with this battle.
Look at them, be like, you like that shit? Like, play with them so that, because they're trying to be respectful.
Yeah.
And so it's like, they don't want to talk over your shit. And so I like had to like stop and like make jokes and be like, you like this shit? Because I want you to know that you can talk. Like, don't talk over my shit, but you can react. And
Yeah, see, and I
so-
think I learned that from this battle was
Yeah.
that the comedy for me actually worked.
Yeah.
And I normally don't do that. So I think I'm going to start incorporating a little more of that in battles, and maybe in the first
should.
round joking, and then in the
Yeah.
other 2 rounds getting to business on what
Yeah.
I do. Because I think if you can make someone laugh, you win them over.
Yeah. And who doesn't want to see someone who's like
And
multi-talented?
that's weird, is I feel like I came out, I immediately won them over, then I lost them. Then I won them back over, then I lost them
Yeah.
again. And I was like, oh my God, like it was so many ups and downs. I've never...
I feel like I won them over, and they
since-
stayed with me.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, this is the most struggle I've ever had in a battle.
But it was
since,
extenuating circumstances.
Since Bobby Lee Swagger.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I battled Bobby, and I
forgot
choked
about
all
that.
3 rounds.
You were like 11. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's cool because, like, even struggling through this, it's like I'm still getting people texting me saying that they felt like I did great.
Yeah.
And so I think that this isn't going to be a battle where I need to worry so much about the critique, and it's more about, like, I don't know, the
just
whole
had a good
vibe.
time.
Yeah, the whole vibe of the event was kind of like just rapping to rap, opposed to like rankings are being affected and money's on the line.
I didn't know
and-
what I was walking into. This is their
Yeah.
first event.
It was
and they
dope.
said, "You want a main event? You want a battle Mike?" And I was like, "Let's do it." So
Yeah,
we
and
did
it was a dope
great.
event. Yeah.
I can't wait for the next one. Honestly, I
Yeah.
didn't think I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I like the
Honestly-
1-round format. I like the crowd that came out. It was good seeing everybody.
And honestly,
It was
what I
good.
think would be dope too is, I mean, I feel like on Mike Masters, and then for me, out of state, and hopefully you soon too. But
Yeah.
I feel like I have a career path, and I'm trying to battle big names and do certain things to build my resume to get on RBE or URL or
Right,
something.
right.
But with a league like this now being in town where it is smaller, but there is such a cool like interaction with the crowd.
Yeah.
I think this is somewhere that I'd be willing to try like a 2-on-2 with a comedy partner.
Yeah,
like you.
yeah. That would
'Cause
be awesome.
I think that me and you could actually do a 2-on-2
Oh, it'd be-
where
yeah.
like you would say something funny, then I would come over their fucking head, and then you would say something funny, then I would come over their fucking head.
That's
you know?
awesome. Set up some actual punchlines.
And then Spades and Jay Villain's the last one. Like I said,
Yeah.
I was outside practicing, didn't see it.
It made me happy. I co-hosted for that battle. It made me happy the whole time. It
That
was
shit
just
was
great to
close,
see
no
Spades
joke.
back. It was great to see Jay Villain come back from what he went through. It's like, it was great. I
like-
honestly, like, no notes.
Stretch actually just hopped on here. Are those my favorite Jews?
Yeah, hello.
Mike, where's your fro? That's cool too, because I haven't posted it to
Listen.
Facebook.
Hey, see? From Vegas all the way back to Salt Lake, baby.
But so the last thing I was gonna say is, because you did see that battle, obviously you thought our battle was great. How did you? Was theirs as good as ours? A little better, a little worse? How did you feel?
I thought ours was the best of the night. And that sounds like braggy, but I really do feel that way. I feel that, like, even though there were some stumbles, like, I don't care.
He
like,
said the other, Mike.
It was, yeah, I thought it was awesome. I think Spades is one of my favorite guys, and Javelin too. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they do next. I think Spades, like, it's a miracle that he like stayed with this, with everything he's going through. Like, that's a huge shout out.
Yeah.
To, props to him, and he did great. And then Jay Villain did great. He went a lot longer than Spades, which is like a 1-rounder so hard. It's like, if no one stops you, you can rap for a half hour.
Really, you could,
and if
yeah.
you go second, like, it really,
There's no
yeah,
saying,
it's
yeah.
just,
And again, I guess the last thing I'm gonna touch on is that I feel like when people watch our battle, it's gonna be like, okay, you're watching Atheist make you laugh, and that's what he does, okay? And then I come out, and then you're watching me make you laugh.
Yeah.
And then I get into my bag where I kind of start being like, dissing people, gun
Yeah.
bars, all that shit. And so I think you're gonna have people watching it, and I guess what I like most about this battle is you're gonna see how versatile Utah is.
Yes.
Because we have someone like you who is so highly entertaining and funny, and then you have someone like me who's so highly entertaining and like in your face aggressive. And I think that when you put those two together, it kind of really does. I think me and you battling is the perfect example of what Utah is, because we're not
Yes.
like other states where we have a style.
yeah, that's a
We
good
really
point. Yeah.
copied all these other states, and now we have mini styles.
Yes, yeah. And it was cool to see, like, there's definitely, like, talent coming up, like, the next generation are coming up, and,
Yep.
like, having a platform like this for them to try out was great.
I'm glad they reached out to us too, because like if you had battled someone else or I had battled someone else, it would have been like very unfair.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad that it was us.
It was the battle that, like, people didn't know they wanted, but me too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, they're like, who do you want to battle? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, the Utah doesn't have a ton of like funny guys, but you've got the brains to be funny, and it worked.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it, man. Like,
I think too that like I'm the one who's gonna be. I only have one camera, so it's not much editing to it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be editing the battles, and so I think I need to talk to him. But I think I'm gonna have this one out within 3 days.
Hell yeah.
I think this will be the first drop.
I love it.
So, because that brings the most views to his channel.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then after that, the next releases may gain from some of those views.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the strategy there.
I thought it was cool too. Like, people, like my last battle, my first out of, a 9-year gap, was against Phoenix Child, who is awesome, but choked her
Wasn't
3
ready,
rounds.
yeah.
Wasn't ready. And so I feel like I was the opening battle. I went against somebody who choked 3 rounds. So it was like they got to see what I could do, but it just feels better when both people are doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so that's what they got to see tonight. So I was like, that's why I took this battle.
I guess that's what I'm most proud of tonight from me is showing that I'm a vet, that even when everything collapsed on me and my brain went blank, I knew what to do in the situation to get back, and
'Cause
I was
you've done
able to
it.
rap through it.
Yes,
Yeah, because
'cause
if
you've
that
done
had
it, you have
happened to me
experience.
back when I battled before as a
Yeah.
kid, it would have been done. I would have freestyled 4 or 5 bars and then called time and been like shit, you know?
And in a 1-rounder, that sucks.
Yeah, and this I was like, fuck that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do what it takes to rap right
Yeah.
now, and so
That was great, man.
I have my stumbles, but it's okay.
2 days prep, that's crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, that's insane.
Yeah,
It was
definitely.
awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so
Yep.
much. Thanks for everybody watching.
Yep, I'm gonna post this on Facebook too.
Cool.
So we're gonna share that now, and I gotta remember how to end it. God, I always suck at this stuff. This is what happens when